Good morning, and welcome to Women of the Bible Wednesday. Today we're going to look at a group of women who used their God-given gift of free speech to express their views at a time when women were considered lower than dogs. And they do it in an ingenious way. Their story is found in 1 Samuel 18, 6-7. Young David the shepherd has just killed the most ferocious, notorious Philistine warrior of all time, the infamous giant Goliath. And there is going to be this big victory parade. Now, the king at the time was a guy named Saul, and Saul started out good, actually chosen and anointed by God. But by the time this incident takes place, Saul's been told by God through the prophet Samuel that he's no longer in God's favor because he, for the most part, has abandoned God. And because of that, God's abandoned him, even agitating him with an evil spirit. And it's becoming obvious to everyone. As the parade approaches the city, the women from across Israel come out and line the streets along the victory route. They cheer and shake their tambourines, chanting, "Saul has killed thousands and David his 10,000s." Now, this might seem like nothing to you. In fact, even in researching about this moment is pretty much nowhere to be found in any commentaries. But this seemingly obscure chant is only obscure because most Bible commentators tend to skip it. Not me. See, I think it's important. And I think you should think so too. See, given the fact that there was no voting for women in ancient Israel and few ways to voice their collective opinion, they actually find a way here. See, the women know that Saul's become an increasingly ineffective leader, exhibiting strange and unsettling behavior. And this is the only way they can come together as a force and voice their concern without fear of being captured or hurt or even killed for it. You know, a little over 4 years ago, I and many others did something similar. I marched in Washington. I marched because, in all honesty, I didn't like President Trump. I was appalled and sickened at how he spoke and acted toward women. I didn't like his policies on immigrants and refugees. I didn't like his fake faith and religiosity that I saw as merely a way to garner votes from the evangelicals. I saw in him someone who craved power and who I very much mistrusted and worried about, much like Saul, who could have been a really good leader but didn't really humble himself and seek God's wisdom. Instead, he thrived on power and popularity and his own strength and abilities. And so I marched alongside thousands of women and voiced our concerns. And there wasn't one act of violence, no fighting, no arrests, no issues of any kind. Women of all ages and from all walks of life, including clergy, and may I say, many men also, bonded together. They even had places set up so women like my daughter, who was with my little granddaughter, Emma, could nurse their babies while marching. It was amazing. We marched, we sang, we chanted and yelled, even some cried. And I'd like to think we were heard. Anyway, the women know David is not only a better warrior, but a better person. And so as he enters the town, hundreds, if not thousands of women cheer for this handsome young warrior and basically compare him to the impotent and tortured king. And with Saul already feeling insecure, the scorn of these women must have stung him deeply. And as they shouted in unity, amazingly, their voices were heard. And wisely, Saul promotes David, making him a commander of 1,000 soldiers. Eventually, tormented Saul will die, and David will take the throne, as God had always planned him to. In the end, we see that when we are on the side of righteousness, the side of good, the side of justice, the side of hope, nothing can or should stop us. I look at the stories coming out now from Afghanistan of the women who are boldly standing up to the Taliban, fighting for their rights and to not have to go back to the way things were 20 years ago. I'm so proud of them. I hope they succeed. Women's voices, even when subjected to persecution, are intense and powerful. The thing is, sometimes we just have to be bold and courageous and come up with new ways of being heard. But if God's with us, well, as we see, nothing can really stop us. Now, please stay safe, stay healthy, wear your mask when around lots of people. Do it for them, if not for yourself. And please get vaccinated and encourage others. Our lives and health really depend on it. And always, always take some time to find the blessings. Know that I love you and I'm praying for you. Never give up hope. I'll see you soon. And until then, God bless you. Peace.